Senate will come to order. The Secretary will call the roll.
Senator Buck. Here. Senator Cannizzaro. Here. Senator Daly. Here. Senator Doñate. Here. Senator Dondera-Loop. Senator Flores. Present. Senator Goycochea. Senator Hammond. Here. Senator Hansen. Here. Senator Harris. Here. Senator Krasner. Here. Senator Lang. Here. Senator Neal. Here. Senator Wynn. Here. Senator Orenshaw. Here. Senator Pizzina. Present. Senator Scheibel. Here. Senator Severs-Gansert. Here. Senator Spearman. Here. Senator Stone. Here. Senator Titus. Here.
Let the record reflect there are 21 senators present. Please rise for the prayer by Pastor Ken Haskins of the First Christian Church of Carson City and remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Our loving Father, you are the very definition of love, for God is love. Enable us to be loving and kind, to treat others the way we wish to be treated. Bless these senators, and with a spirit of cooperation, help them to promote the best interests of all Nevadans. I pray in Jesus' name, amen.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Order of business number 3, reading and approval of the journal by previous order of the Senate. The reading of the journal is dispensed with, and the President and Secretary are authorized to make necessary corrections and additions. Order of business number 9, motions, resolutions, and notices. Senator Cannizzaro.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that Jessica Garcia of the Nevada Appeal be accepted and accredited as a member of the press, and that they be allowed to use the appropriate media facilities in the legislative building.
Thank you. You've heard the motion. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. The motion is carried.
Senator Doñate has approved the addition of Senator Orenshaw as a primary sponsor for Senate Bill number 92. That concludes order of business 9.
Thank you. Order of business number 10, introduction, first reading, and reference.
Senate Bill 227, introduced by Senators Spearman, Harris, and Scheibel, and Assemblyman Gonzalez, De Silva, and Taylor, revises provisions relating to crimes. End of bill.
Senator Spearman.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move to refer Senate Bill 227 to the Committee on Judiciary, the hardworking Committee on Judiciary.
Senator Spearman has referred SB 227 to the Judiciary Committee. Are there any objections? If not, so ordered.
Senate Bill 228, introduced by Senators Buck, Hansen, Stone, and Titus, revises provisions relating to governmental financial administration. End of bill.
Senator Buck.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that Senate Bill number 228 be referred to the Committee on Government Affairs.
Senator Buck has referred SB 228 to the Government Affairs Committee. Are there any objections? If not, so ordered.
Senate Bill 229, introduced by Senator Hansen, exempts certain persons who perform certain dental services on equines and livestock from provisions governing veterinary medicine. End of bill.
Senator Hansen.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that Senate Bill 229 be referred to your Committee on Commerce and Labor.
Thank you. Senator Hansen has referred SB 229 to the Commerce and Labor Committee. Are there any objections? If not, so ordered.
Senate Bill 230, introduced by Senators Hansen, Stone, Titus, Buck, Goycochea, Hammond, Krasner, and Severs-Gansert, requires certain proof of identity to vote in an election. End of bill.
Senator Hansen.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that Senate Bill 230 be referred to the Committee on Legislative Operations and Elections.
Senator Hansen has referred SB 230 to the Legislative Operations and Elections Committee. Are there any objections? If not, so ordered.
Senate Bill 231, introduced by Senators Cannizzaro, etc., and Assemblyman Yeager, etc., makes an appropriation to the Interim Finance Committee for allocation to school districts that budget salary increases for certain employees. End of bill.
Senator Cannizzaro.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that Senate Bill 231 be referred to the Committee on Finance.
Senator Cannizzaro has referred SB 231 to the Finance Committee. Are there any objections? If not, so ordered.
Senate Bill 232, introduced by Senators Cannizzaro, etc., and Assemblywoman Gorlow, etc., requires the state plan for Medicaid to include coverage for postpartum care services. End of bill.
Senator Cannizzaro.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that Senate Bill 232 be referred to the Committee on Health and Human Services.
Senator Cannizzaro has referred SB 232 to the Health and Human Services Committee. Are there any objections? If not, so ordered.
Senate Bill 233, introduced by Senator Cannizzaro, revises provisions governing taxes imposed on certain heavy equipment. End of bill.
Senator Cannizzaro.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that Senate Bill 233 be referred to the Committee on Revenue and Economic Development.
Thank you. Senator Cannizzaro has referred SB 233 to the Revenue and Economic Development Committee. Are there any objections? If not, so ordered.
Senate Bill 234, introduced by Senators Scheibel, Harris, Wynn, and Orenshaw, revises provisions governing communications with offenders. End of bill.
Senator Scheibel.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that Senate Bill 234 be referred to the Committee on Judiciary.
Senator Scheibel has referred SB 234 to the Judiciary Committee. Are there any objections? If not, so ordered.
Senate Bill 235, introduced by Judiciary, revises provisions relating to pretrial release. End of bill.
Senator Scheibel.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that Senate Bill 235 be referred to the Judiciary Committee.
Senator Scheibel has referred SB 235 to the Judiciary Committee. Are there any objections? If not, so ordered.
Senate Bill 236, introduced by Senators Krasner, et cetera, and Assemblyman Wynn, et cetera, makes an appropriation for educational programs relating to history, law, and civics. End of bill.
Senator Krasner.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that SB 236 be referred to the Committee on Finance. Thank you.
Senator Krasner has referred SB 236 to the Finance Committee. Are there any objections? If not, so ordered.
Senate Bill 237, introduced by Health and Human Services, revises provisions relating to crisis intervention. End of bill.
Senator Donate.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that Senate Bill 237 be referred to the Committee on Health and Human Services.
Senator Donate has referred SB 237 to the Health and Human Services Committee. Are there any objections? If not, so ordered.
Senate Bill 238, introduced by Senators Stone, et cetera, and Assemblyman Urick, et cetera, makes various changes relating to certain voter registration agencies. End of bill.
Senator Stone.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that we refer SB 238 to Legislative Operations and Elections Committee. Thank you.
Senator Stone has referred SB 238 to the Growth and Infrastructure Committee. Are there any objections? If not, so ordered.
We need a 1-minute recess.
We are in recess. Okay, we are back on SB 238. Senator Stone.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. I'm going to make a motion to rescind SB 238 going to Growth and Infrastructure.
Okay, you've heard the motion. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The
Mr. President.
Motion carries. Senator Stone.
Thank you, sir. I'd like to make the motion that we refer SB 238 to Leg Ops and Elections. Thank you.
I'm sorry, which committee?
Legislative Operations and Elections Committee.
Senator Stone has referred SB 238 to the Legislative Operations Committee. Are there any objections? Not so ordered.
Senate Bill 239, introduced by Senators Flores, et cetera, and Assemblyman Torres, et cetera, establishes provisions governing the prescribing, dispensing, and administering of medication designated to end the life of a patient. End of bill.
Senator Flores.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that Senate Bill 239 be referred to the Very Healthy Committee on Health and Human Services.
Okay, Senator Flores referred SB 239 to the Health and Human Services Committee. Are there any objections? If not, so ordered.
That concludes order of business 10.
Okay, we're now on order of business number 13, general file and third reading. Are there, go ahead.
Assembly Bill number 152, introduced by the Assembly Committee on Ways and Means, makes an appropriation to restore the balance in the reserve for a statutory contingency account. The people of the state of Nevada, represented in Senate and Assembly, do enact as follows: Section 1, end of Section 1.
Are there any amendments to the bill as a whole?
There are none. Section 2, this act becomes effective upon passage and approval. End of bill.
Thank you. Senator Dondero Loop.
Thank you, Mr. President. Assembly Bill 152 makes a one-time general fund appropriation of $42,139,109 to restore the balance in the reserve for statutory contingency account, which was included in the executive budget. This act becomes effective immediately upon passage and approval.
Thank you. Are there any further remarks? Hearing none, the secretary will call the roll. All right, does anyone wish to change his or her vote? Secretary will close the roll. The vote on Assembly Bill number 152 is 21 in favor, 0 against. The bill has received a constitutional majority and is declared passed and ordered to the Assembly.
That concludes order of business 13 and the business of the desk for this legislative day.
Thank you. We're now in order of business number 16, remarks from the floor, introduction of guests. Senator Dondero Loop.
Thank you, Mr. President. Today with me, I have two wonderful Nevadans, Janie Malorny and Christine Hall, who are in town for Civics Learning Week, which ends on Saturday with Nevada's first Civics in Action Summit in Carson City, and then will be held on March 25th in Las Vegas, both at Nevada State Museums. Janie works in public service and is an advocate for community readiness every day. As a current state employee and educator, she believes civic learning is at the core of all instruction. Christine is a native Nevadan and loves being involved in her community. As a parent and educator, she is excited to celebrate Civic Learning Week with the Civics in Action Summit and History Day Showcase at the Nevada State Museum. Please welcome them.
Senator Wynn.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have also, if you guys can go ahead and stand up, I have two Senate District 3 residents with me. I have Peter Whittingham, retired LAPD, as well as Sophia Whittingham, who in her spare time loves music and art. But today they are here as a part of advocating for the Down Syndrome Organization of Southern Nevada. If you see them in the hallway, please make them feel welcome.
Senator Lang.
Thank you, Mr. President. I would like to let members of Senate Education know that we're going to meet at 2 o'clock today instead of 1 o'clock.
Thank you. Senator Flores.
Thank you, Mr. President. I request that the following remarks be entered into today's journal. Joining me today is Andres Rodriguez, who was my campaign manager, and also he's a PhD student studying public affairs at UNLV. There's a lot of people in this body today who he knocked hundreds of doors for, and I just wanted him to be up here, learn the process. I anticipate there will be a day where his last name will be on one of these placards, and I think it's important for him to be here now. And if you could please give him a big round of applause, please.
Senator Severs-Gansert.
Thank you, Mr. President. I wanted to make note of the Boys and Girls Club. There were members who were supposed to be here today, but they had to go to a luncheon, and I just want to speak to them a little bit. The Nevada Alliance of Boys and Girls Clubs serves 22,000 youth and 64 clubhouses in our community-based facilities and school club sites throughout Nevada. The clubs in our state focus on out-of-school time, safer childhoods, wellness and health, education, workforce and leadership, and diversity, equity, and inclusion to create better futures for our Nevada youth. Today, we would have had 6 members of the clubs on the Senate floor who are competing to be the Youth of the Year. And right now, they, as well as other members, are at a luncheon to announce who the Youth of the Year will be, and that is being held at the Governor's Mansion. I think we all missed it. It's 11:30 to 1:15. I also was supposed to have a guest with me, but who was unable to make it. But the Boys and Girls Clubs in Nevada are so important, and I know all of you recognize that. Their after-school programs, their programs during the summer really help parents out and really give a lot of young people a place to go when they don't have anything else. And they're just critically important, and I want us to make sure that we welcome them when we see them. Thank you.
Thank you. Senator Buck.
Thank you, Mr. President. Today, I have with me native Nevadans, Jeff and Kenna Cooper. Jeff is on many boards. The most notable are CSN, Hope for Prisoners, the Ingleside Foundation, and he's also on the board of directors for Opportunity Village Foundation. Accompanying him today is his wife, and Kenna. So please help me make them feel welcome.
Senator Orenshaw.
Thank you very much, President. I am very honored today to have my wife, Rihanna Durrett, here with me visiting the legislature. And most of you know my wife, but yesterday she was honored at the Board of Clark County Commissioners in honor of Women's History Month as an exceptional woman in Clark County for her work as a pioneer leader in Nevada's legal cannabis industry. She currently serves our state in the executive branch as a member of the Cannabis Compliance Board, very active in the private sector before her appointment to the board by our former governor. And I'd ask everyone to make her feel welcome, and I'm very proud of her honor by the county commissioners.
Senator Krasner.
Thank you, Mr. President. Today is Developmental Disabilities Awareness Day, and the Nevada Legislature has the Governor's Council on Developmental Disabilities and the ARC of Nevada here with us. We have over 120 people with developmental disabilities and their families attending from every corner of the state and almost every district. Please help me to make them feel welcome. Thank you.
Senator Scheibel.
Thank you. I just wanted to announce that the Senate Judiciary Committee will be meeting at 1:30 today. Thank you.
Okay, Senator Cannizzaro.
Thank you, Mr. President. I am also pleased to have with me a constituent of mine from Senate District 6, Stephen Cohen, and he is here today visiting us. He is a disability advocate with strong interest in employment issues, and he's here for Developmental Disabilities Awareness Day, and is, again, a constituent of Senate District 6 in Las Vegas, and so if you could please make him feel welcome. And Mr. President, I didn't want today to go by without making mention, and I will keep it brief. Today is International Women's Day, and so you may see many folks in the building wearing the color purple in honor of that day. And it is just a day to sort of recognize the contributions that women have made to our society in so many ways, and certainly in this body, in the political branch. It's really remarkable, again, to be part of the first and sort of trailblazing first female legislature in the United States. And here in Nevada, we've seen that for a few sessions now. And of course, we've talked about all the amazing women leaders who serve in this chamber and my colleagues on the floor with me. And I think if you have any doubt about whether or not women have made a difference, have made an impact, and belong in political conversations and leading the government, I think you find the answer right here on this floor is yes, and a very strong yes indeed. And so just wanted to acknowledge that it is International Women's Day. We appreciate all of the women who work very tirelessly in this building to help us accomplish what we are able to accomplish for Nevadans. So just wanted to note that for today. And the only other thing I have is that I would move that we stand in adjournment until the hour of 11 a.m. Tomorrow is Thursday, March 9th, 2023.
Thank you. You've all heard the motion. Those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. The Senate is adjourned.